And we are back with another episode of Full Disclosure. I am your host, Christian Thayer. I'm not entirely sure what the title of this podcast is going to be. It's sort of like a two-parter where the first part I'm going to be talking about how it is just too easy to become a real estate agent and why that's not necessarily a great thing. And then towards the end of the video or podcast, although if you are watching this on YouTube, this is a video. Towards the end of this podcast, I am going to be talking about like what makes a great quote unquote realtor, or what makes a successful one. Just the mindset. So this is kind of this episode is for everybody involved in the industry. So going back to how easy it is to be a real estate agent. I'm not stating that being a real estate agent, the job itself is easy. I'm saying how easy it is to become one is a little bit too easy, and why that's not a great thing for those of you that are A, real estate agents, and B, successful ones, or just good ones. So we're going to talk about it. Basically, I found an article where the majority of states in the United States, at least, demand requirements, of course, to become a real estate agent. And for example, in Texas, an agent needs 180 hours of class to become a licensed agent, which, 180 hours, that's a lot. But in theory, this can be done in a matter of weeks. And this is the case for the majority of states. Let's not forget to mention that somewhere around 87% of realtors leave within 5 years. Now, this is according to NAR back in 2014, but I would venture to say that the majority of real estate agents that make it through, at least from what I've seen, don't last long because it's A, hard to be a real estate agent, and B, it's easy to become one. So that makes sense, right? So basically what's happening here is instead of better policy or procedure, we're just adding more agents to the mix. We're adding more newbies who don't necessarily understand the ins and outs of contracts, which on occasion can lead to massive chaos and headaches for clients. So what is the real consequence of all of this? Well, the lack of preparation among new agents entering the field isn't just bad for consumers, it affects your reputation as a real estate agent as a whole. If the market is full of people who don't know what they're doing, there becomes an overall perception that agents don't bring any value, which is not great for us. And by us, I mean you, because I am not a real estate agent. In an inventory chaos market like the one that we are currently in and the one that we will most likely be in for a hot second, most home buyers seek out an experienced agent who can give them a fighting chance. That's smart. Sellers, however, are another matter. Sellers oftentimes have the mentality that they'll just use their friends, sons, brothers, girlfriends, aunts, uncles, buddy to list their house because the whole quote unquote anybody can sell a house deal. And the tragedy for the consumer and agent alike can be vast in that they're receiving guidance from somebody who doesn't actually have guidance themselves. So many brokerages out there are pretty much just playing a numbers game. They're not necessarily trying to teach you how to do business correctly or even ethically. Now, that obviously is going to depend on the brokerage. Instead, they're just trying to leverage relationships. Basically, the whole point that this article is trying to make is the fact that when there are new agents out there who may or may not have been trained less than properly, or they don't know what they're doing, and they interact with consumers, and maybe they are in your same brokerage, and they leave a client with a poor taste in their mouth, the odds of that client wanting to work with another agent in that same brokerage is probably slim, which means that hurts you, a good, quote unquote, granted, I don't know what type of real estate agent you are, but let's just say that you know what the heck you're doing. And that's going to hurt you if all of these newly trained real estate agents are not as good as they could be, because that is just thinning out the field of potential consumers for you. So moving over to what it actually takes to become a good real estate agent. Now, again, this is another article. I am not a real estate agent myself. However, I'm just going to pick and choose some of them. There's 12 of them on here, and some of them feel like they were just here because the editor said that they needed 12 facts. So we're just going to pick out a couple. The first one is obviously going to be determination. You are your own boss as a real estate agent. You guys obviously know this. Determination, motivation, pretty much the same thing. And yes, don't get me wrong, there will be days, weeks, months, possibly where you are lacking in motivation, in determination. And that's a bummer because the amount in which you work pretty much directly correlates with how much money you're going to be bringing in. So those are going to be tough. But those of you that have and continue to have determination, continue to have consistency, will probably see more success. They have number 2 on here as the ability to negotiate. Yeah, that's just going to come with time. Unless you're just like a natural born salesperson, that is just going to come with knowing how the business operates. So if the new agent that wasn't trained properly or doesn't really know how to negotiate, they're not going to do very well if they can't negotiate. That's kind of what real estate is, right? Number 3, they have tech savviness. Basically, this is just the ability to operate Facebook, really is what it boils down to. Maybe taking a couple photos here and there, just being able to market yourself, because again, while you are a part of a brokerage as a whole, depending on which brokerage you are working for, sometimes that brokerage doesn't advertise for themselves. They leave that all to you. It honestly just depends. They say a winning personality, which, I mean, yeah, I guess I feel like we're already digging deep at number 4 here, but basically the whole concept here is, you need to, I don't want to say like be charismatic, but at the end of the day, you are technically a salesperson. You will find yourself drawn towards certain types of customers. I talk about this in a class that I teach where, I basically just tell you, the agent, to be you. Don't try to be somebody you're not, because then you're going to end up attracting people that are attracted to the person that you're not. And then when the real you shows up, there might be a little bit difference, because you guys work with each other, you and the client. Way too much time is spent together. So you want to make sure that you are with people that you like, maybe not so much, but you want to make sure that they like you more than anything. Integrity, yeah, that feels pretty easy. The ability to network, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know where I came across this quote, but it was basically the concept of a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately. And I like this for the ability to network. If you're not going to talk about the fact that you are a real estate agent, if you are not going to try and make connections and make a network, then you will not be fed, metaphorically speaking, or I guess physically speaking, depending on your money situation. The next one would be attention to details. Let's see. I'll probably just cut that one. As a real estate agent, you have to be able to solve problems on the fly. Specifically, you have to, and not only do you have to solve the problems, but you also have to make it look like, it's not even a problem. You can't necessarily lose your cool, or maybe your clients are going to lose faith and lose trust in you, that you know what the heck you're doing. As I mentioned in the first one, they have self-motivation. I don't really know how that's different than determination. But again, they literally say you are your own boss. We already covered that one. Dedication to a professional appearance. Now, this one, personally, if I was a real estate agent, I would be a very casual real estate agent. But I'm not, so I don't have to worry about that. They obviously, the whole phrase is dress to impress. I get that. But that's obviously also going to depend on who you're trying to attract as your customers. If you are working with down-to-earth people, maybe you don't need to be rocking a suit every day. I don't know. Again, personal preference. I don't really care. Communication skills, they have at 11, and honestly, that one should probably be number 2. If you are not a good communicator in person, over the phone, via text or email, you are going to struggle, because not only do you have to communicate, but you also have to listen. uh, I would venture to say that being a good listener is probably more than half of the battle, because if you aren't listening to what your clients are saying that they want or they need, and then you're showing them houses that they've said, hey, we don't want this, then you're not going to have those clients for long. And the last one that they say is boundless enthusiasm. This one I want to say is slightly important, but I'm not saying like you have to be like a golden retriever energy type enthusiasm. More or less, in the world of real estate, as you obviously know, there are highs and lows. I'm putting an offer in on the house, and then you realize that you just got beat out by 13 cash offers, even though you thought you had the offer in the bag. So not only are you going to have to be enthusiastic, but you are going to have to bring your clients up from a lot of downs. I'm assuming if you're a good real estate agent, you know this, you know how this works. You know how to cheer people up when they didn't get the house that they really wanted, etc. So those are a few of the things that I wanted to touch on in this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some value. And as always, I will talk to you guys next episode.